Morning, Trainiacs. We are gonna get strong today. Also, you know what looks good? Shorts with rubber boots. Am I right or am I right? So with it really just being, I don't know, I would say like the last 5 years since it's been accepted that strength training is a benefit to endurance athletes. Like, you look at the studies and there's no arguing that strength training as a substitution for some of the hours that you are doing with your triathlon training is going to actually make you a better endurance athlete than if all you did was swim or bike or run or swim, bike, run. And with it being so new, what I find is there are very few resources out there for endurance athletes that are strength training specifically for endurance athletes. What I find is that the resources out there are like work on your core, like duh. Lift weights, duh. Use progressive overload. Yeah, I got it. Okay, this is basic stuff. And the resources don't prescribe exactly how an endurance athlete should incorporate strength training. So what it leads to is a lot of endurance athletes that are just kind of cobbling together whatever they possibly can, which is at best written very generically. And what it results in is these 5 big mistakes that I see a lot of endurance athletes make. I'm going to tell you what they are and how you should properly do strength training for endurance. So just as I warm up here, I want to say that strength training, however you're doing it, is going to be a good thing. Every single human should do some form of resistance training. It's great for your body. If you're doing traditional weightlifting to try to put on mass, or powerlifting because that's what you're into, CrossFit because you want to focus on CrossFit, whatever it is, traditional like bodybuilding style workouts are all fine too. What I'm talking about is if you are looking for specific strength training designed to supplement endurance athletes and enhance your performance, these are the pitfalls that you should avoid. So as I get set up here to do this, the first thing that I see people doing is not changing their strength training over the course of an entire calendar year. This is a huge thing. People just train for strength all year round, which is great, but not ideal because it could be to the detriment of your races. People have seen me knocking out heavy, like 335 pound hex bar deadlifts over the past few months, thinking, oh, well, that's what I need to do year round. How it should actually work is during the off season and the base building season, you gradually build up to heavier and heavier weights, like really very heavy weights. And this is a good time to do it because you're not including a whole lot of intensity in swim, bike, run. So you can put that intensity over into strength training. Now at this point in the season, right around February, March, you're still in pre-race season mode, assuming races come back this year. So you can include intensity, but the goal is to take that raw strength that you built in the previous off-season and base building season, start harnessing that into explosive strength. So you start lowering the weights, but doing more explosive movements like you're gonna see me do today. I'll share the workout with you right after I'm done. And then during the race season, you peel it back even more, focusing more on things like plyometrics, getting that ground contact time really quick, backing off of almost all heavy weights and going more with body weight or kettlebells, core stability movements, or low gear work on the bike, hill running on the run, paddles in the pool, so that you're gradually going from heavy strength to very sport specific strength. Now I need to bid you a fairly fond farewell for about 30 minutes while I do this. It ain't gonna be pretty. Whew, solid, check it out. Okay, so what we did over here was did 20 minutes of warming up where I did foam roll paired with wall angels. Then I did some twists with thumbs up, 7-up I call it, paired with a wobble board. Then I use kettlebell, the club and then the steel mace to start adding a little bit of load to the body, and then the lateral box drives to turn on the side stabilizer muscles and to get some of that like quick explosiveness that we're working on now. Then the main set was 30 minutes. I did the hanging power cleans. I'm just starting to do cleans in the year right now. So hanging power cleans means that the entire movement is as short as possible and as controlled as possible to limit likelihood of injury. Then I did a single leg bridge with a crush grip press, then the foam one-legged deadlift on the foam balance board, then a Cossack squat. And I did that as 40 seconds work, 20 seconds rest, that whole thing through, 1 minute rest, 6 times for 30 minutes. Now, I gotta just go cool down with some chill closed chain hips and the core 1 routine on 19 seconds. Now the second mistake that I see athletes making when they start incorporating strength training is that when it's time to go heavy and intense, they don't go heavy and intense enough. During that time that I'm building up the huge hex bar deadlift, well, huge relatively speaking, I'm building up to 335 pounds. The target is 2 times body weight. That's really heavy. What's been shown in studies is that it's that heavy strength that ends up really improving your run and cycling efficiency, lowering the amount of energy that it takes for you to swim, bike, and run. And then during the times that you actually want to be building up the strength, like the off season, the base season, the pre-season right before race, where your intensity in swim, bike, run isn't super high, you want to have a stimuli that is strong enough, hard enough, that you are actually going to create adaptations for your body. You're going to force your body to adapt. Now, the next thing, and this is historically what a lot of endurance athletes used to do, is they used to say, I don't want to put on big, bulky muscles, but at most, I want to maybe work on my core. I want to do S&C, strength and conditioning. So they would do a little bit of core routines, and because it wasn't that intense, they would say, well, I'll do it on an off day, on a light day, because I've got a lot of time on those days. And then, as strength training became more the norm that people would do, they still kept doing it on light days. And what happens is your light days that are intended for rest don't end up becoming rest, or you are going so light in your strength sessions that you aren't really doing anything. So what I like to do is actually pair my strength and conditioning days, my S&C days, with otherwise intense days. Let the intense days be intense, let the rest days be rest. I have to end with 7-minute abs. Now, those last couple of movements where I was pressing my thigh up against the wall and doing the core exercises at the end, that's the next issue that people get wrong. Is that they really ignore the little muscles, the tiny little stabilizer muscles. It's easiest to work those muscles when you are already fatigued. So we do the main exercise, and then at the end, try to hit those tiny little stabilizer muscles. And then wherever possible in a workout like the one I just did here, instead of doing a really stable version of an exercise, I'll put something like a foam balance board underneath a foot to destabilize everything, because the big muscles are what really propels you forward. But that doesn't mean that the small muscles are not important. They're actually what are likely to increase your agility and actually allow you to stay injury-free. Finally, the last thing, and it might be kind of beating a dead donkey and quite apparent by now because I've kind of danced around it, but it's worth saying because you've got a lot of typical gym equipment here. We've got a lot of weights here. I'm talking about weightlifting. But one thing that is like a big picture is that not all weightlifting is created equal. You wouldn't train for a half marathon the same way that a sprint 100-meter runner would train. So why do strength the same way that bodybuilders or power lifters actually train. This means that the reps are different. Instead of that typical like 8 to 12 reps, you're looking at 7 or under reps. Or the flip side of that, you're looking at building muscular endurance with long sustained reps with really light weight so that your body is resistant to fatigue under load. Like when you're biking for a long time, your muscles aren't deteriorating because they're nice and strong. You're also not doing things like the traditional weightlifting exercises like bicep curls and bench presses and like Nautilus machines and things like that that isolate specific muscle groups. We aren't just doing that with a muscle group. Our entire body is working together, so we have to do movements that allow our body to coordinate itself, to be compound. They're called compound exercises. You're specifically looking at doing exercises that force the body to work all together, all at once, being strong as a unit. Well, you can go check a video that's gonna pop up right over here that talks a little bit more about some of the specific exercises that you do, or you can go to teamtrainiac.com. That's our training app that is online that all you have to do is show up every single day and all of this is taken care of for you. Strength, swim, bike, run, soon to be running races, soon to be swim run races, soon to be cycling races, soon to be duathlon races, soon to have yoga included in there. And finally, if you just want to read more about this, go to our website, mymotive.com, where we're already starting to get contributions from strength training experts that are talking about this whole big picture. Final call to action, if you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. Later, Trainiacs.